to another inspiration from Ken Park at Fallingbrook Heights Baptist Church at the Center. Here's Ken.
One day a farmer went out to sow seed in the field. He had a vast amount of seed to plant. And as he planted the seed, some of the seed fell amongst the hard ground, the path. And it was trampled, and the birds came and picked it up before it even had a chance to get into the soil. Other seed fell among rocky places. And over time it sprang up quickly, but the sun scorched it, and without any water and without root, it withered and died. Other seed fell among thorns, which choked the plants as they grew, and others fell amongst good soil. At harvest time, months later, the farmer came and was delighted in the crop, even though some had been lost to the birds, some had gotten scorched on the rocky ground, and some were choked out by the thorns. What had been planted in the ground produced a good crop, 30, 60, 100 times what was planted. The story Jesus told, you can find it in Matthew 13, Mark 4, and Luke 8. It's a brilliant story. It's one of the most well-known stories of Jesus, the parables of Jesus, and we're all in it. It speaks about our identity, our roles, our responsibilities, and the outcome of our lives. We're in the midst of this parable. It was said in the context of Jesus traveling around to the towns in his day, healing people, delivering them from demon possession, sharing the good news of the kingdom. The good news of the kingdom was his favorite topic that he spoke about. And if you've ever worked in the soil as a gardener or a landscaper or a farmer, you know what Jesus is saying. The delicate nature of the seed, the different types of soil, the threats to growth. After Jesus told this parable, in one of the rare instances in which he does so, he then gives the explanation to those who first heard it. You see, God is the sower. The seed is His word, His presence, life. The ground, the soil, is the human heart. The birds are the evil one, who causes confusion and snatches away the seeds before they can grow. The rocks and the hard soil is trouble, hard times, persecution. And the thorns represent the worries of this life, the deceitfulness of wealth, riches, pleasure, distractions. I grew up on a farm with a great number of field crops. And when birds arrived, we scared them off to protect the crop. When stones came up in the field, my brother and I predominantly collected them up to put them in a pile. And when there were thorns and weeds, they were sprayed to kill them. In this parable, there's a twist and a truth. The Bible indeed says in Genesis 2 and 3 that we are made from the dust. Miracle of miracles, we're made from dust. We're dirt, more than we typically think. And into our lives, seeds are planted, seeds of life. God invests a plethora of seeds into our lives. The seeds that are planted in our lives, the air we breathe, the joy we feel, the resilience we learn. Jesus himself in John 10:10 said, I've come to bring life, and so that you may have it to the full. He also said, the thief, the evil one, comes only to steal and kill and destroy. So I have 4 questions for you based on this parable. What are God's seeds in you? Once you've identified them, then you can recognize and thank God for them. Number 2, what has the evil one stolen from you? Resist evil. Nourish the seeds in your life that God has planted. Number 3, What hard times have you endured? The hardness of the ground, soil of your life. Renew your soil. Endure the times, even the times that we live in today, and grow stronger for the seeds to grow in your life. And number 4, what worries or distractions, greed, competes with the seeds of life in your day-to-day experience? Remove them. Focus on the harvest of life and get rid of those things that aren't seeds of life, that are just distractions. If you resist the evil one and you endure the hard times and you trust God and live for Him, then you'll produce a harvest of life, multiplying His goodness in you 30 to 100-fold. If you want to go deeper today in the text that we're reading, read Matthew 13, 10 to 17, and decide who you'll be in Jesus' example, because He calls all of us to it. Today I want to close with 2 Corinthians 9, a letter that Paul wrote, and perhaps he was thinking of what Jesus said in this parable. Paul writes this: "Remember this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Each of you should give what you've decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. As it is written, they have freely scattered their gifts to the poor. Their righteousness endures forever. Now He who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will also supply and increase your store of seed and will enlarge your harvest of righteousness. You will be enriched in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion. And through us, your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God." In just a couple days, we're going to start Holy Week 2020. And the pandemic has disrupted our understanding, our ability, our memory, our experience of celebrating Easter. Palm Sunday that we celebrate in just a couple of days, I encourage you to read the story of Jesus as He came into Jerusalem. Jesus as He rode the donkey and was celebrated as the King. In what you do today, may God bless you.
Thanks for listening to this inspiration from Ken Park. For more information, visit our website, churchatthecenter.com. God bless.